Tonight on CTV News at 6, more city-inflicted congestion. Another arterial route cut off by construction.
They want to revitalize downtown. Guess what? It doesn't really happen when you can't get there.
A Salmonella outbreak in people linked to pet food.
We are investigating 27 cases of Salmonella infection. 13 of those are in Alberta.
And Wabamun Lake 20 years later.
15 rail cars that were leaking crude oil and a number of other cars that were spewing out other hazardous materials.
The recovery after hundreds of thousands of liters of oil and other chemicals leaked into the lake.
Some more sunshine in the forecast over the next couple of days and some more cool, crisp mornings followed by really warm afternoons.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. The closure of Wellington Bridge on 102nd Ave has cut off yet another route to the downtown core. City councillors are calling for change, and local businesses say they don't know how long they can hold on. Connor Hogg has more.
It's a quiet day at Heart of the Home on High Street. Kathy Springer's daughter owns the kitchenware store.
It's 1 o'clock, and we've had one customer in since we've opened at 10:30.
Springer says many of the businesses on High Street were dreading Monday when the 93-year-old Wellington Bridge closed for replacement.
They just should not have closed it yet. Wait until 104th was finished, right? They want to revitalize downtown. Guess what? It doesn't really happen when you can't get there.
With another route to downtown cut off because of construction, city councillors say they're hearing more complaints.
We still don't really have a solution for how people are going to move around in the city until we get some bridge capacity back.
It's affecting a lot of people's journey today, and it's really frustrating.
Tim Cartmel wants to see moving cones in construction zones throughout the day so more drivers can get through.
It was echoing silence from what I heard, honestly. I think that there's some acknowledgement that there's a concern, but I don't know that very many people share this journey.
It's this cumulative impact that's hitting people really hard and having a genuine impact on their quality of life.
Andrew Knack says keeping lanes open through construction has been tried in the past. He wants to see expedited construction, already being used on West End LRT construction on all other projects.
If they're only allowed to work 8 to 12 hours a day, you have your setup time in the morning, you have your takedown time in the evening, and that in itself means you're not doing as much construction as you could by allowing that 20 to 24-hour construction cycle. I think that's going to be a model going forward.
The city estimates construction on the Wellington Bridge will take until October 2026. The next few months will determine whether Heart of the Home will be open along with it.
We will know with the Christmas season, because if we don't do well, we probably won't be here next year.
Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Edmonton elections needs more help when voters head to the polls next month to elect a new mayor and council. A hiring fair to fill close to 1,000 positions started today at Norquest College. Recruiters are looking for workers to help with half-day ballot counting once voting stations close on Election Day, Monday, October the 20th. The returning officer says there are still plenty of opportunities for people to come out and be part of the team.
We wanted to just really promote this particular opportunity at Norquest because we do think that it really suits some students because the shifts will be starting predominantly after their school classes finish.
Roughly 4,000 positions have already been filled to staff voting stations during advance voting and Election Day. An outbreak of Salmonella infections has been linked to dog food and treats, with dozens of human illnesses reported across Canada. CTV's Brendan Purdy is following the story and joins us tonight live from the Terwilliger Dog Park. Brendan, how concerned should dog owners be?
Well, Jeff, of the 27 illnesses recorded across Canada, right here in Alberta, we're actually the hot spot with 13 confirmed cases. But where those cases are, we don't exactly know. Now, the Public Health Agency isn't releasing the specific regions or cities, citing privacy reasons. The agency says the source has been isolated to dog food and treats. However, the ongoing investigation hasn't narrowed it down to a specific brand. These cases date back to February, but have become more frequent in recent months. Although your dog may not show any signs of illness, they can still be infected, and they can pass that infection on to you.
They can pass it on through kissing you with or when you manage their feces when they're outside. So those are ways that people can be exposed to bacteria through dogs.
When you're handling dog food, it feels funny on your hands anyway, so you kind of wash them anyway. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't want to eat after immediately touching her food.
Anything they can get a hold of.
Signs of the illness in humans include a headache, fever, and chills, which leads to stomach cramps and diarrhea. Hexamer says the best measure to combat exposure to a salmonella outbreak is to consistently wash your hands after handling any dog food or treats. Now, Jeff, she adds that having a dedicated dog food bowl and routinely cleaning it are added ways to be preventative. As you can see, it's pretty empty here at the dog park, so hopefully a dedicated dog food dish to all those dogs at home currently eating dinner. Jeff?
All right. Brendan, thank you. Brendan Purdy live tonight in Southwest Edmonton. The government of Alberta is celebrating another step in its recovery-focused care model for those facing addictions with the opening of a new detox centre in West Edmonton. The George Spady Society is running the Aurora Centre on Stony Plain Road near 156th Street. As part of a commitment of $8 million from the province in 2023, the new facility expands medically supported detox capacity in Edmonton. The new location provides 19 additional beds for Albertans struggling with opioid addiction for a total 60 beds.
It means fewer people waiting for help, and it means more lives changed, more families reunited, and more futures reclaimed.
The province says the Aurora Centre is expected to serve up to 2,300 people each year. Concourse congestion issues over the weekend at Commonwealth Stadium are again highlighting the need for upgrades to the facility. Fans who attended the busy Morgan Wallen shows are calling for it. So is the mayor. CTV's Nicole Weisberg reports.
While most fans who attended country music star Morgan Wallen's shows over the weekend shared their favorite moments, there were also posts like this about discomfort from the crowds.
It was wall-to-wall on the concourse. Couldn't really move around that well.
The congestion was apparent to concert goer Jason Starozik as soon as he entered the gates.
I didn't get to see Miranda Lambert when we went in. We needed to get drinks and then go to the bathroom, and that itself was about a 40-minute ordeal.
He says the experience gives him pause over bringing someone like his mother or 3-year-old to an event.
It's a huge issue when you have 55,000, 60,000 people all going into one concourse, doing a bottleneck like that. It's not safe.
The director of Commonwealth says during events like this, there was an active command center where staff monitor and respond to issues live using over 175 cameras.
When we did notice that there was some pinch points, we were able to stop entry at certain gates, be able to turn people around.
Heather Suter also says 2 sections of the concourse were extended beyond the gates. However, both she and the mayor agree the nearly 50-year-old stadium could use some major upgrades.
It's an old building now, but it is a venue that has an international reputation of holding big events, and we want to make sure that that international reputation remains.
The mayor has spent years advocating to the province for funds and says he just spoke with the premier last week.
I was very clear to the premier that Edmonton still has not received the equitable funding compared to Calgary on their event park.
A statement from the Municipal Affairs Minister points to the future downtown event park as an example of it supporting Edmonton's sports and entertainment needs. He adds while there are no plans at this time to provide direct funding for upgrades at Commonwealth, Edmonton has the flexibility to use other provincial funding it receives for infrastructure to upgrade the stadium if it is a priority. Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
2 decades after a train derailed west of Edmonton, questions are being raised about the long-term effects. Hundreds of thousands of liters of oil and chemicals were spilled into Wabamun Lake. While it's been given a clean bill of health, some people believe more studies are needed to know for sure. Amanda Anderson reports.
Trains run through this spot west of Wabamun several times a day, a spot known as Ground Zero, where 20 years ago this past August, more than 40 cars went off the tracks. The deputy fire chief at the time remembers the call like it was yesterday.
We found the 15 rail cars that were leaking crude oil and a number of other cars that were spewing out other hazardous materials.
More than 700,000 liters of oil and chemicals spilled into Wabamun Lake.
About 9 o'clock, the wind come up from the northwest, and it broke the booms all apart, and the oil started to move.
Cleanup took about 18 months to complete at a cost to CN of more than $100 million. A report prepared for the Wabamun Watershed Management Council on the environmental health of the lake, released nearly a decade after the spill, showed there was no long-term effects, and the lake given a clean bill of health.
I think the state of the lake is excellent, regardless of the level of it.
We fall back to trusting Alberta environment, and they have deemed that the lake is, safe for fisher consumption. But again, that's not to say that everyone believes that, and also for swimming and use of the lake.
And fish have been reintroduced over the years, but Sue Stiles says there's reasonable belief the spill and the work done to clean it up continues to impact numbers and sustainability of fish in the lake. Water quality tests are also now done regularly, but Stiles says the Watershed Council can't afford comprehensive tests.
We are not at this point monitoring for PAHs, for the polyaromatic hydrocarbons.
She says not continuing to study the impact of the spill on this freshwater lake is a missed opportunity to clear up questions and concerns many still have to this day.
There has been little interest in pursuing additional studies. I think one of the factors is we find a residual contamination 20 years later, then what do we do about it?
Still, the Watershed Council plans to pursue the issue with government and CN in the future. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Wabamun.
Beautiful day on the Wabamun beaches, Josh. Beautiful day in Edmonton. It's just keeps rolling.
Yeah, I mean, this warm spell is going to continue right into the weekend, and even as we get a little bit of a cool down early next week, still no worse than average to slightly above average. There is no cold spell coming anytime soon. Take a look at current temperatures. We're at 25 degrees in downtown Edmonton with light wind and clear skies. We actually managed to make it to 26 for a daytime high today, so almost 10 degrees warmer than average. Was a crisp start to the day, though. 6 degrees in the city, which is average for this time of year for your morning lows. Outside the city in the 2 to 4 degree range early this morning. I think we'll be a little bit milder tomorrow morning. We'll show you the morning low in a second. First, take a look outside with the CTV drone flying over Wabamun. You can see the blue skies in the Edmonton area and off to the west of the city. In fact, most of the province is dealing with fairly clear skies. Just a little bit of thin cloud cover there in parts of the northeast. You notice how everything's getting rerouted as it comes off the north coast of BC, rerouted well up to the north. You have a nice big upper ridge that's going to stick around for a few more days. Kind of breaks down a little bit through Friday and into the weekend, but it's probably not until Sunday that we get our next chance of precipitation, and even that looks pretty scattered. No precipitation for the next 24 hours, though. In fact, not even any clouds, really. 10 degrees tomorrow morning in the city and up to about 28, maybe even 29 for a high tomorrow afternoon. Let's take a look at the rest of the week in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. A grade 12 student at Old Scona High School is using his skills and free time to help people around the world. As CTV's Merrick Takash shows us, he's making prosthetic limbs for people in Uganda.
Two side-by-side 3D printers are working overtime in Isam Tahir's living room. Years ago, Tahir spotted a 3D printed dragon at a farmer's market. Soon after that, he started making his own dragons, something that would soon come in handy for a different project.
I kind of kept that skill with me and slowly started to develop it till I could actually turn my hobby and my skill into something that could actually make a difference in the world around us.
Now the 16-year-old is using his printing equipment to help people in Uganda who are in need of prosthetic limbs.
It honestly just feels like a way that I can, turn my passion into something tangible. And I'm really fulfilled, and I really hope that these arms make a long-lasting difference in those people's lives.
The organization he's been working with is based in Saratoga, California. The United Enable Coalition sends limbs directly to Uganda.
The people that he's sending these prosthetics to are people who used to have major limb differences. And in Uganda, they take these limb differences really seriously, as they're actually, some parents actually hide away children, disabled children away from the public because they're like ashamed of having a child with a limb difference.
The president of the coalition says what To Hear is doing shows what teenagers are capable of.
He could be making fidget spinners, but he's chosen instead to devote his time to making something for someone who's literally across on the other side of the world.
To Hear's mother is proud of her son for making a difference.
And to even imagine what it's like for people to be using the prosthetic that he created. I think it's just amazing.
To Hear's work has already put 2 arms on people in Uganda.
I hope to send the next one as soon as possible, just because now that I've developed this skill, I kind of want to use it more and more. I hope to send the next one fairly soon, and hopefully many after that as well.
Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Ahead on CTV News at 6, Canadian citizenship marker.
So I think this is a political stunt in many respects with some good intentions.
Concerns about changes coming to Alberta driver's licenses, also next. The changes coming to the province's industrial carbon tax program.
Tuesday on Your Morning, advice for parents as we creep closer to a possible teacher strike.
Make some contingency plans. Hope for the best, but prepare.
Wednesday, we talk to the winners of Amazing Race Canada.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Questions are being raised about claims proposed changes to license cards will make life easier for Albertans. CTV's Nariman Issa joins us now. Nariman, what are some of the concerns you're hearing?
Well, Jeff, one political science professor I spoke with calls this a political stunt, saying a Canadian citizenship sticker isn't going to fix matters the province says it will. A graphic posted by the Premier shows the new licenses will have CAN written on the top corner to indicate someone is a Canadian citizen. The province also plans to add healthcare numbers. It says these changes will help streamline access to services, strengthen the election system, and cut down on the number of Alberta healthcare cards with an unknown status. A University of Alberta political science professor is skeptical about the need for these additions.
You can check if someone's a citizen or not to see if they can get to services or not without this sticker. So I think this is a political stunt in many respects with some good intentions, i.e. to reduce fraud, whether it's voter fraud or health fraud or licensing. But the sticker has absolutely no sense to actually be there.
Drivers will need proof of citizenship or immigration status in order to obtain or renew a license. The province says the new licenses will cost the same as usual. The citizenship marker will be added to all new and renewed driver's licenses starting next fall. CTV News has reached out to the province for comment. Jeff.
All right, Nariman, thank you. The Alberta government is changing its industrial carbon tax program. It says companies can avoid paying provincial fees based on emissions by spending on their own emissions reduction projects instead. Premier Danielle Smith says the move would support economic growth while ensuring companies work to lower emissions. She says the province is also allowing smaller companies that don't meet the emissions threshold to opt out of the carbon pricing system for 2025. Smith says the changes will be introduced this fall. The Premier is on the tail end of her Alberta Next panel tour after stopping in Airdrie last night.
We all know that Alberta has grown a lot in recent years, but few communities have grown faster than Airdrie. It's a welcoming and affordable community with great amenities and a quality of life that is hard to beat. These qualities are worth protecting.
That's the sweet spot.
This is the 8th of 10 stops throughout the province this summer. It's meant to give people a chance to have their say on the province's future and gauge the public's feelings about Alberta's relationship with Ottawa. The panel will be in Grand Prairie tomorrow night. Still to come, challenging conditions.
They'll go and open up and then people come out and, oh, sorry, within an hour we're sold out. It just doesn't work.
How farmers are adapting to make sure you can find a perfect pumpkin this fall.
Lots of sunshine in the forecast and temperatures staying in the mid-20s for most of the next 3 or 4 days. But tomorrow should be the warmest day of the week. So we'll get close to 30 degrees. The full forecast is next.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Owners of a fall favorite are facing some hurdles. Some area pumpkin farmers are having to overcome challenging conditions to make sure their patches are primed. CTV's Sasha Pietramala reports.
Spooky season is back. While people are eager to enjoy traditional fall fun, some pumpkin patches may not be so ready.
It has been a challenging growing season.
Playing a major role in pumpkin health, Tam Anderson says the weather has been far from ideal.
Spring started off really dry, and then we have had a frost every month this year.
Anderson owns Prairie Gardens, a 70-year-old you-pick farm.
Pumpkins are just a traditional fall thing, and you know, the beauty of the fall colors and pumpkins and corn patches and apples. It just, that fall vibe is so important to a you-pick farm that's involved in agritourism like we are.
Her farm isn't the only one adapting.
We have hauled in almost 300,000 liters of water to irrigate our stuff this year.
Last year, Mill Tower Ranch kept its doors closed. With hardly any water, the farm grew only 150 pumpkins, rather than its usual 3,000 to 4,000.
Go and open up, and then people come out and, oh, sorry, within an hour we're sold out. It just doesn't work. I didn't want to disappoint people.
Other local businesses, too, are trying to accommodate to people's pumpkin desires one way or another.
Well, sometimes we just buy extra pumpkins where they can just hold the pumpkin. It has that same vibe.
Despite the pumpkin setback, a fun-filled autumn season is still promised.
The whole extended family actually gets to spend some time together, making some memories and having the best time of their lives at a pumpkin farm.
Sasha Pietramala, CTV News, Edmonton.
So lots of sun, not a lot of rain lately.
No, and none in the forecast until maybe Sunday, and even that looks like scattered showers, if anything. Right. If you want some good, solid, heavy soaking rain, you're out of luck for the next, for the foreseeable future, really. Here's what it looks like outside right now. The Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free. 25 degrees under mainly sunny skies. We get to 26 for a daytime high today. 25s, Grand Prairie, Peace River. 19s in Fort McMurray and Cold Lake. Everybody else, though, into the 20s today, and more of that on the way for tomorrow. You can see the cloud cover arching well to the north. There's that calling card of the upper ridge. And that will stick with us, it looks like, for a few more days. You can see this warm air in the mid and upper levels. There's tomorrow. So this will probably be the hottest day tomorrow. And then it kind of starts to break down a little bit through late Thursday and into Friday. I still don't think we'll see much more than just a bit of cloud cover. This upper trough, it'll be short-lived, but that will come through and give us some thicker cloud cover for Sunday, and for parts of the province, some hit-and-miss showers. Here's your clear skies overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. I don't think we'll see any patchy frost across the province tomorrow morning. Should be a little bit milder than it was this morning. There were a number of spots close to the freezing mark to start the day today. Sunshine tomorrow afternoon. Late tomorrow night, you might see a bit of precipitation in northwestern Alberta through the Peace Country up into the high-level region. Again, it's probably not going to be all that widespread or amount to all that much, and the same goes for these scattered showers in western Alberta late Thursday. That's the back edge of that ridge that we were showing you, starting to slip off to the southeast. So that will allow a little extra cloud cover to come in for Thursday night, and we'll call it a mix of sun and cloud for Friday. 25 degrees in Edmonton right now. It's 18 and 19 in northeastern Alberta, mid-20s in the northwest. Jasper's at 27 degrees, should get to about 27 or 28 for a high again tomorrow, and we'll be in that territory, about 28 or 29. Average daytime high is 18 degrees rather. The 9 p.m. temperature is 17, so pretty close to the average high mid-evening tonight. We'll drop to about 10 degrees tomorrow morning. Light wind to start the day, but it does get a little breezy through the afternoon. Wind to be out of the southeast around 20, gusting to around 30 or 40 kilometers per hour to go along with the warm temperatures, 28 or 29 tomorrow afternoon. A little bit of a drop in temperature there for Thursday, mainly sunny about 24. We're up to 25 with mixed sun and cloud for Friday. Saturday, there's a little bit of a question mark with Saturday. I've got 26 right now in the forecast. There's a chance we could be 27 or 28 again on Saturday. Chance of scattered showers, and back to around 20 on Sunday, and then we'll stay somewhere in the 18 to 22 range through the early to middle part of next week. Take a look at those temperatures compared to average. I mean, we're way above average for the next 4 days, and even with that cool down next week, still warmer than the seasonal norms.
Looks good. Thank you, Josh. Coming up on CTV News at 6, Chrystia Freeland quits cabinet again.
The work that Chrystia will lead on Ukraine will be deeply impactful, not just for the war, but for Canada's national security.
A new job for the Liberal minister from Alberta. And
you look at those films and you place them back to back to back, you see how different they all are, and you see that the common link is Robert Redford.
How a beloved actor, director, and producer is being remembered.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Edmonton. Contact us today for all things basement-y.
Longtime cabinet minister and one-time deputy prime minister Chrystia Freeland is quitting cabinet again. Freeland will serve as Canada's new special representative to help with the reconstruction of Ukraine. CTV's Michael Couture reports.
Chrystia Freeland isn't stepping down as an MP yet, saying in a statement she won't run in the next election. A source familiar with the appointment says Freeland will work directly with the Prime Minister on the rebuilding of Ukraine. Chrystia Freeland left her final cabinet meeting accompanied by Prime Minister Mark Carney, signaling an amicable departure. Details of her new job only came in a statement from Carney saying, "I have asked Chrystia to serve as Canada's new special representative for the reconstruction of Ukraine." A source speaking on background says Freeland will work with Ukrainian leaders to rebuild its economy, an effort she championed under the Trudeau government as well.
The work that Chrystia will lead on Ukraine will be deeply impactful, not just for the war, but for Canada's national security.
Freeland has been a member of Parliament for 12 years, serving under Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, handling key portfolios like international trade and foreign affairs. She also led the negotiation for the Canada-US-Mexico trade agreement.
She's had literally every tough assignment there is in government, and she's done it with extraordinary flair, and she's done a great job.
In 2020, Freeland became Canada's first ever female finance minister. 4 years later, she resigned from Trudeau's cabinet with a blistering letter criticizing the Prime Minister and costly political gimmicks, a move that led to Trudeau's own resignation less than a month later. Freeland ran for the Liberal leadership, but came in a distant second to Mark Carney. In a statement, she thanked her constituents and praised the current Prime Minister, saying Mark Carney is a unifier in a time of crisis, and I have absolute confidence in his ability to lead us through it. Ontario's Premier also praised her time in politics.
She's always a friend. I talk to her almost daily, bi-daily, and she's a good person, and she'll do a great job over in Ukraine, and I support her all the way.
Late this afternoon, we learned who will fill the void in cabinet. The minister in charge of Canada-US trade, Dominic LeBlanc, will now take over on internal trade. And the transport file will be handled by Government House Leader Steve McKinnon. Mike Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Donald Trump is in the UK for an unprecedented second state visit. The trip will mix trade deals with royal pageantry, but also criticism. The U.S. president was met with a huge photo of himself and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein on the lawn outside Windsor Castle. That's where Trump is spending the night. CTV's Joy Melvin reports.
It's a striking show of force. In Windsor, police on the streets on horseback patrolling the River Thames. And there will be a no-fly zone. Police are concerned someone might try to fly a drone over the castle walls. After the targeted assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, as well as the attempts on Trump's life, no one is taking any chances. All of the events will be kept inside for security reasons and hidden from the public. Those hoping for a glimpse of the U.S. president in Windsor will be disappointed. Donald Trump and the First Lady arriving here by helicopter. That's how tight security is.
This is the second state visit. You know,
it's spectacular. It's a shame, really, they're not having a carriage ride through Windsor.
The Stars and Stripes along with the Union Jack may be on display, but not everyone is rolling out the welcome mat.
Oh, this man is endangering human life on this planet. He's got to be told that, and I can't go to America, so he's kindly come here.
Trump will avoid the demonstrations and protests against his visit from the Stop Trump coalition and others angry over what they call the president's divisive politics. Trump and the First Lady will be treated to a grand display of royal pageantry, hoping this so-called soft power of the royals will appeal to the unpredictable president. In the face of Trump's annexation threats, it was King Charles who went to Canada to show solidarity.
As the anthem reminds us, the true north is indeed strong and free.
That intervention by the king seems to have worked, though Canadians aren't over it yet.
I'm from Canada, so at the moment we feel a little bit misunderstood by him, so I'm not sure that we're excited about Donald Trump.
This visit will be a royal charm offensive with all the pomp and ceremony, from a military fly past, a gun salute, and a lavish state banquet, all designed to dazzle the U.S. president in hopes of signing some crucial business deals. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Windsor.
The Israeli military says it has expanded ground operations in Gaza City overnight as the army launches the next phase of a controversial offensive against Hamas. Israel carried out a large wave of airstrikes, with Israel's defense minister saying that Gaza is burning. In the coming days, 2 divisions of the Israeli military are expected to advance into new areas of Gaza City that are not currently under Israeli control. The Israeli military estimates there are as many as 3,000 Hamas militants still in the city. Today, President Donald Trump had a warning for Hamas.
But we're going to see what happens, because I hear Hamas is trying to use the old human shield deal, and if they do that, they're going to be in big trouble. They're going to be in big trouble. They put it out 2 days ago that they're going to use the hostages as human shields. That's something that hasn't been done for a long time.
A New York State judge has dismissed 2 terrorism charges against Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
Luigi, how you feeling?
The New York judge in the case says prosecutors failed to establish enough evidence, calling the terrorism-related murder charges legally insufficient. The charge of second-degree murder will stand. Mangione is also facing federal murder charges, which, if convicted, could lead to the death penalty. Thompson was shot and killed in front of a Manhattan hotel last December, leading to a high-profile manhunt. Accolades are pouring in for a beloved movie star. Robert Redford died today at the age of 89. More than just an actor, Redford went on to reinvent himself as a director, producer, and eventually became the face behind the prestigious Sundance Film Festival. CTV's Andrea Case reports.
There are movie stars, and then there was Charles Robert Redford Jr. Born in Santa Monica, California in 1936, his acting career began on television in 1959. He moved on to Broadway, and then came the movies. His good looks cemented his leading man status. But Redford was more than just a pretty face, and turned down acting roles which he thought would stereotype him.
Well, that ought to do it. Use enough dynamite there, Butch?
Robert Redford was someone who I think wasn't always given credit for his enormous talent as an actor, simply because he was too good looking. He had the Brad Pitt syndrome that people, I think, for a while just refused to take him as seriously as he deserved to be taken as an actor. But then you look at those films and you place them back to back to back. You see how different they all are, and you see that the common link is Robert Redford.
Marvin, what do we do now?
He made his directorial debut with the family drama Ordinary People in 1980. It garnered him his first Academy Award. Redford stood for many issues, his star power attracting attention to causes which included political activism, the environment, Native American and Indigenous peoples' rights, and LGBTQ rights. In 1981, he created the Sundance Institute, named after his Sundance character, and in 1985, the Sundance Film Festival was born, taking place where he lived in Utah, in the middle of winter.
Our job and our role is to create a space and a platform
to bring new voices and new ways of seeing the world using independent film.
Redford was married twice and had 4 children and 7 grandchildren. He died in his sleep this morning at home in Utah, surrounded by those he loved. Robert Redford was 89.
Still to come, hope an agreement can be made.
This is another step in finding our way through what is a pretty difficult time for a significant Canadian industry.
Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe debriefs on his trade mission to China, while canola farmers look for support in the interim. Plus,
we're going to make sure that it is Canadian products making it to market, supporting Canadians.
A liquefied natural gas export facility will soon float off the northwestern coast of BC. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar closed at about 72 cents U.S. Oil was up $1.22, closing the day at $64.52 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained more than $6 on the day. The TSX and Dow Jones both closed lower, down 115 points and 125 points, respectively. Prime Minister Mark Carney met with Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe today. The pair examined the Premier's trip to China, where Moe discussed steep tariffs on canola exports. As Alison Bamford explains, much is on the line since Saskatchewan is the world's leading canola producer.
His commitment to our country, obviously he's working for the people of Saskatchewan, but commitment to our country and contribution at the tables have been essential to getting us together and moving forward.
A quick welcome before getting down to work. This afternoon's meeting between the Premier and Prime Minister, a chance to debrief after Scott Moe's trade mission to China earlier this month. Moe met with Chinese government agencies responsible for imposing the steep tariffs on Canadian canola products. Talks, he said, were much more positive than expected.
This is another step in finding our way through what is a pretty difficult time for a significant Canadian industry.
The tariffs are driving down canola prices at a time when farmers are at their busiest. Once the crops are harvested, the pressure will shift. Do producers sell or delay as long as possible?
There's just no real answers and again, no real indication from our federal government as to what sort of support as producers we could be expecting in the future.
The duties are widely viewed as retaliation for Canada's 100% tariff imposed on Chinese electric vehicles.
Tariffs on canola came up unexpectedly. If they can come on fast, then come off fast. And the Chinese are just going to want something in return.
Before flying to Ottawa, Moe told reporters he's hopeful an agreement could be reached by the end of the year. But farmers are still fearful that this could drag on. And with bills to pay, producers may be forced to sell their commodities at a price much lower than the cost of production. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
An Indigenous-led liquefied natural gas project in BC has received the environmental green light.
We are going to build this country, and we're going to do it right, and we're going to make sure that it is Canadian products making it to market, supporting Canadians.
The Slissyms project involves the construction of 2 floating LNG structures in northwestern BC. It will export Canadian gas to Asia. The province says the facility will produce up to 12 million tons of LNG annually and generate billions of dollars. The project has now received its environmental certificate despite some concerns by several other First Nations. Air Canada says the union representing its flight attendants has requested cancellation of mediation. Air Canada says it comes after members voted against a wage agreement earlier this month. The airline has agreed to the union's request. It says flights will continue to operate as normal. Canada's inflation rate edged up slightly in August, fueled by a smaller than expected drop in gas prices. Canada's inflation rate was up 1.9%, a slight increase from the 1.7% bump in July. In Alberta, that number was lower at 1.4%. Even though gas prices were down compared to last year, the decline was smaller than July. Consumers are facing the biggest sticker shock when it comes to groceries, especially meat. StatsCan says meat was up 7.2% last month.
It's the ends of the animal that are getting more expensive, which is I haven't seen this before. I've been doing this for 23 years.
We're not talking that by Christmas beef prices will be coming down. We're talking a period of a few years before we see some softening of the beef price.
All eyes now turn to the Bank of Canada, which will release its interest rate decision tomorrow. Coming up, high-altitude trek.
I think it's going to be extremely exhilarating, assuming I have any breath left to spare.
The challenging climb a blind Alberta man is preparing for in an attempt to break a world record.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Edmonton, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Brought to you by Southview Acura. For family-owned, award-winning excellence, Southview Acura, where luxury meets reality.
An Alberta man is part of a team of 11 blind and visually impaired hikers preparing to climb Mount Kilimanjaro next month. It's all part of a world record attempt to become the largest blind team ever to reach the roof of Africa. CTV's Mark Villani has more on the upcoming adventure.
What do we got? Holy man. Peter Quietini is loading up these dumbbells into his backpack, but he's not going to the gym. He's going for a hike. The blind Calgarian is training for the adventure of a lifetime, preparing to summit Mount Kilimanjaro next month.
Just because the likes of me can't see doesn't mean that I can't do things that you might not expect.
But he won't be alone. 10 other hikers from Canada and the U.S. are joining him. The group is attempting to break a world record as the largest team of visually impaired climbers to scale Africa's highest peak. It's a long way up, nearly 5,900 meters to the top, as part of the Lemosho route.
That's been on my bucket list for years.
Desiree Dion is a fellow blind hiker from Lacombe. She says reaching the summit will be a dream come true.
When you see someone you don't understand, it's very easy to judge their capabilities. It's nice to be able to show people it's possible to do things in spite of differences.
And other blind climbers like Tammy Adams from Toronto say traveling as part of a team will actually heighten her senses.
You know, make sure you're lifting up your feet and you're aware of your surroundings and you're listening.
Quietini relies on bells to listen to those around him and a hiking pole to hold on to a sighted guide in front. His wife won't be making the trip to Africa, but she's taken pride in keeping him safe during training.
Communication is everything. He wants to know what he might trip over to avoid a problem. He needs to know where the trail's very narrow and he might fall off the side.
My feet just have to accommodate all the variability in the trail.
And although it's an adjustment, these hikers are determined to show what's possible.
It does send a message that we are capable.
Go for it. I mean, take the opportunity while you can.
It's going to be extremely exhilarating.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
Warm one tomorrow. 26 degrees was your daytime high today. Should get to 28 or 29 under mainly sunny skies. And it'll be a little bit milder tomorrow morning. It was 6 degrees this morning. We'll start tomorrow at about 9 or 10 degrees here in the city. Should see temperatures in the mid-20s through Thursday, Friday. A little bit of cloud cover there Friday, and then back to sunshine and mid to upper 20s Saturday. We could even be a couple of degrees warmer than 26. Slightly cooler temperature pattern settles in for next week, with the chance of some scattered showers on Sunday. But dry until then.
Sounds great. Thanks, Josh. And thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, visit ctvnewsedmonton.ca. See ya.